Thank you. Since there are so many new members, I just want to first say that my name is Lucy Fortin. I'm with the Manick and Smith Group. With me is Barry Bushman, who's principal and vice president of the firm. We have been your Township DDA engineers and planners for a number of years. And so we are generally there to assist you in any kind of endeavor, whether it be construction or planning, etc. So this is what's called an information meeting. As of 2019, DDAs are now required to have more what's called requirements as far as transparency. So they are required to have 2 information meetings a year. Unfortunately, due to COVID-19, last year was quite unusual. We weren't able to have any. So today's information meeting will really count as the first one for 2021, and then you're on the hook for another one, which we hope to do maybe by the end of the year, 2021, after we have more accomplishments to talk about. And the purpose of these meetings is really to inform the public, and there was a particular way we needed to advertise this meeting. It's to inform the public on the goals and direction of the DDA. So let me go in further and show you screen, which apparently is not moving right now. I apologize. There we go. As far as history, Bedford DDA was formed in 1996. The primary reason it was formed was to do some upgrades at the intersection of Secor and Stearns. That project was completed in 2000, and then the bonds were retired by 2012. The Bedford Township reapproved the DDA to function again in 2010, and therefore this is how you're operating right now. So, and to continue to work on connectivity, economic growth, and beautification. You see here that what it looked like in 1990, the intersection compared to today, and this really doesn't reflect entirely all the new development that's been occurring in recent past, but you see the net difference here, particularly with the Kroger Plaza and all the development to the southwest corner of the intersection. And this also shows, if you see on the slide to the DDA district, which is important because you are limited to spend your monies within that area. So the legal authority of DDAs in general derives from the Public Act 57 of 2018, the TIF Act. Primary purpose of DDAs is to promote economic growth. And it allows a community to capture, in the DDA, to capture the incremental growth of local property taxes. And that, the purpose of which to fund public improvements within its boundaries. These taxes would normally go to entities like the library, community college, or county. With that money, you're able to fund projects which can then spur more development opportunities within DDAs. The board consists of, and generally, a DDA resident, people having property and business interests in the DDA, as well as the township supervisor.
We may also have, Lucy, just to interrupt, we may also have, given the number of members that we have and what the law states, we can have 2 general members.
Yes, and I apologize, I should have made that clear. What can a DDA generally do? They can do road improvements, water sewer projects, marketing programs, streets, spend monies on parking facilities, acquire property within the DDA, and other property improvements. in the relationship with the DDA, which is separate from the township board, but they do have a relationship. And the relationship is when it comes down to approve the budget, the Bedford Township Board needs to approve it. They also approve the General Development Plan Financing Plan, and I have a copy of that and will like to make sure that all new members get a copy of that as well, since we recently restated it. And thirdly, the board also approves DDA members. The vision and goals of the Bedford DDA is really to create a pedestrian-friendly environment within the DDA area, to establish a cohesive green design theme that you've probably noticed, particularly in the Pearl Albert Pocket Park, and to promote economic growth. Some of the DDA accomplishments in the past, and this is the list, and I've got a few pictures to show you. And I mentioned the first project was really improvements at the intersection of Secor and Stearns, but there are others have been in the DDA for quite a while, and they include the Pearl Albert Green Park, which I'm sure you've noticed. Decorative solar lights that were implemented, installed in 2015. The cleanup of the property, the old Buddy's property in 2015, 2017, and you see on the slide a picture of a previous looking property. It looks quite different today, but the DDA was involved in helping facilitating the cleanup of that property. There have been some roadway improvements that were done in 2015, 2016, primarily with curb approach repairs, looking like this. There's been quite a bit of work done in negotiating easements for implementing some sidewalks in 2016, 2017. And some of the former DDA members were really critical in making that happen. The sidewalk improvements, which I'm pretty sure all of you are aware, were done in 2016, 2017, and there were other streetscape improvement done in 2018, and this is where we're getting at, which was also made possible with what's called a TAP grant that we were able to obtain through SEMCOG, TAP being Transportation Alternative Program funding from MDOT and the regional SEMCOG. These improvements also including the mast arm signals at the intersection, some pedestrian areas, and then the final connectivity of your sidewalk system. And this some pictures of what the new improvements look like that I'm sure you can see today. Future project, this is the master plan that was developed a number of years ago and was updated fairly recently with given the new projects. But you can see here that some of the future projects that we've been talking about in terms of improvements to the DDA include some additional connectivity internal connectivity within the properties. We also have been talking about signal improvements at Quail Hollow and Stearns and Secor. And other improvements in future projects we have been talking about is purchasing possibly some land for a farmer's market, continuing landscaping and beautification of the area in general, continuing possibly some streetlight installation, and then there's been talks about programming and marketing, which unfortunately, and I got to believe for reason of what's happened in 2020 with COVID-19, have not really been, and also wanting to encourage business owners in enforcing ordinance in terms of making sure that everything in the DDA looks right. So now the DDA is really at this point, and this is the end of my presentation, so I'll try to stop sharing so we can now see each other. And I guess I just want to make the point that we're at a point with new members once we are ready to possibly start talking about what these future projects might look like. And Manicus will be glad to continue working with the DDA in trying to get to those projects. And maybe we can start talking about that in a future meeting. If anyone has any questions, I'll entertain any questions at this point.
Well, thank you, Lucy. That was a great presentation.
We're done.
Okay. All right. Well, if we are done and we're not getting any phone calls from the public or anything, I think we can now close this public meeting.
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
Is there a second? Raise your hand or unmute.
I'll second it.
Linda, I know. Okay. Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. All right. We are now done with that, and we can move on to opening our meeting for the DDA. And that it is now at what, 3:11 p.m. We're opening the DDA meeting. Okay. Oh, not seeing it. Where is it? Oh, I see. Okay. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, I don't have a printer, so I'm going back.
Before you start, I want to make sure Trudy's daughter typically is on here taking minutes. If she's not, we need to probably appoint a secretary. I don't think she is.
Yeah, at least for this meeting until we can have formal elections. Would somebody be willing to take notes and submit those for the meeting minutes? Linda, are you saying you're muted? Are you agreeing to do it?
I apologize. Yes, I will.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
All right. I'm trying to pull everything up here and I can't get to everything at once here, but okay. Roll call. Well, let me ask this first. I see, Gabe, that you're noted as a guest, so I assume that you have not yet taken your oath at the office. Gabe, you're muted.
I think that's just a Teams thing, Joyce.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a few people noted as a guest. Has everybody been officially sworn in? If you haven't, just raise your hand. Yeah, I think everybody's been sworn in, Joyce.
Yeah, I got sworn in.
I'm sorry, you have not?
I did, yeah.
You did, and Lucas
Yeah.
has, and Jason. Okay. All right, then we participate and make motions and so forth, and I hope you will. Again, I don't have everything in front of me because my printer isn't working.
So number 2, you had welcome to new members, Joyce.
Yes, thank you. Well, so yes, I would like to welcome Lucas and Gabe and Jason. I'm sure you will. I hope you will enjoy this meeting. I hope you'll bring some fresh ideas to us, and take a little while to get caught up on the whole thing. It's been we've been in a course, and I've been on it ever since we got started back in 1996. But lately we've been moving forward fairly rapidly as things go to get a lot of things done, as you've noticed. Maybe you could each introduce yourself. Gabe, would you like to start and just tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. I'm Gabe Coleman. My wife and I moved to the area about 4 years ago, and we have Lambertville Vet Clinic.
Okay, you got that from Paul then, right?
Yes. Yep.
Yes, and of course, Paul was our chairman for, for a number of years. Well, welcome, Gabe. Lucas?
I'm Lucas Diver, agent at Hyatt Insurance Agency. Been here for actually in December was my 3-year anniversary. So I've been here for a little over 3 years now.
Okay, well, welcome.
Thanks.
And Jason?
Hi, my name is Jason Jindo. I'm the owner of the Liquor Cabinet in Secor and Temperance, and I've been here since 2012. Married, 3 children, and that's about it.
All right, well, welcome.
Thank you.
Hey, Joyce, maybe we should go through and all introduce ourselves, maybe so they.
Yeah, I would agree. I think that would make a lot of sense. I'm Joyce Blanton. I've been on the DDA for, well, like I say, actually wrote the first drafts of the plan for the DDA way back in the day. I am retired. I was a senior consultant with a local employee benefit consulting firm for almost 30 years in Toledo, Finley Davies. I've also served on the Beautification Committee, and I'm currently on the Green Initiatives Committee, which is an outgrowth of the currently defunct Beautification Committee, and we're concentrating on, as you can imagine, sustainability issues for the township. And I'm a resident here. I've been in the township now since 1980. Linda?
You're muted, Linda.
You're muted.
I need to get the clicker on my left hand because I write with my right hand. Linda Flick, Flick's Package Liquor. We've been in business since 1953. Enjoyed this great community and have participated in a lot of things in the community. And I'm glad to meet all the new people on the board.
Thank you. Lane?
Hello, Lane Fraley, Subway in Lambertville. This is going on my 30th year in the community. And I think approximately, I found it might be my 4th year in the DDA.
Thank you. Kind of Lucy introduced herself from Mannequin Smith. Barry, you want to reach out and say hello?
Yep, be glad to. Barry Bushman with Mannequin Smith Group. I'm the Senior Vice President. In another life many years ago in the late 70s and 80s, I was actually the county highway engineer for Monroe County Road Commission. Left the public sector and joined the private sector with Mannequin Smith in '89. I think I've been in the community close to 40 years now. I live just right down the corner at Secor and Smith at some of the new development on the Northwest Quadrant. And I serve on other committees for Bedford Township as a resident also.
Thank you. And Paul, I think everybody probably knows you by now, but would you like to say a few words?
I'll just say a couple words. In my opinion, I serve on many boards throughout the county and in Bedford, and I truly believe this board is by far one of the best boards to serve on. Everything you do, you can do on this board. You don't have to have the township board approve it. Most boards go to the township board for approval. This board has authority to spend the money of the tax capture that's captured from it. So, I think it's really cool. That's why we're able to get things done quicker. You don't have two governments boards you're dealing with. So I'm excited about the new board. A lot of fresh faces. But I want to say we're going to miss Jerry Goodrich a lot. He was a member that served for 20 years. Joyce has served a little bit longer, but Jerry did a lot for this group and a lot for the DDA, and so we'll miss him. So, but welcome everybody.
Thank you. Oh, okay. Yeah, sorry.
Can you hear me?
Kevin, we haven't met you yet. So would you like to introduce yourself and say a few words?
Sure. My name is Kevin Laderack. I manage I'm the banking center manager of the Lambertville office with First Merchants on Secor Road in Lambertville. Moved to the area November 2019. Previously, I had been managing the Carlton location for Monroe Bank and Trust and then First Merchants. So when this opened up in April of last year, I kind of jumped at it. So looking forward to getting to know everybody and participating on the board.
Great. So I think that's all of us, right?
Correct.
Good. Okay. I'm flipping back and forth here to look at what I'm doing next. Supposed to be doing next.
And just there'll be one more person joining us hopefully after next board.
Call, sorry. Joyce Blanton here. Oh gosh, I don't have all the names. Okay, Kevin.
Yep, Kevin Laderack here.
Linda. I assume you said here.
Present. Present.
Okay, Jason.
Present.
Gabe. I assume you said present. Lane.
Present.
Paul.
Here.
Who did I miss?
Miss me, but I'm here.
Oh, you're sorry. Okay, yes, exactly. Okay.
Approval of agenda.
All right, everybody's here. Wow, this has been, this is amazing. We're all here for this meeting. Great. Okay. Lucy, you can see the agenda, so we're.
Approval of the agenda is next item.
Yes, thank you.
I'll make a motion. We approve the agenda.
By the way, before we do that, did you see the new agenda that I sent out?
Yes, I have a couple of them here. Yep.
Okay, that's the agenda that we're approving.
Okay.
Okay, can I have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Okay.
Minutes.
A little bit of background on this whole thing. Because of COVID, we didn't have our monthly meetings as usual. We actually met in, this is tough.
October 16.
Yeah, we met October 16th at the time, but we actually did not have a quorum. But we did have to meet to okay some invoices that were outstanding. So whether quorum or not, I guess we approved them. And Paul, I don't know whether they got paid or not. But that takes us back. I'm sorry.
Just as a clarification, the minutes, we did have the October 16th meeting where you did have a quorum. The quorum where we didn't have was the November 13th meeting.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, then I'm confused. I was going back and looking at all that. And oh, that's right. Okay. So what we need to do is actually approve the which were, yeah, we didn't have that's sorry. I even put that on the agenda. Okay. So I don't know if everybody had a chance to, were those sent out? Was it the October meeting or the October meeting was sent out? Is that correct?
Yeah, I have the minutes here. As present was Lane Fraley, Linda Flick, Joyce Blanton, Jerry Goodrich. So one of you will have to make the motion and support it since you were there. Actually, we don't even have. So yeah, Joyce or Linda or Lane can make the motion, and one of you will have to support it.
I'll make a motion.
Oh. Go ahead, Joyce.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Lane?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so fast.
Okay.
All right, what's next on our agenda?
Invoice approval.
I'm sorry.
You have the
Invoices.
approval?
Invoices.
Do you have the
Oh,
invoices, Joyce, in front of you?
I'm sorry.
Do you have the invoices?
I do. I can pull stuff up on my phone. It's just between the two of us. It's all making me just a little crazy. Okay, hang on.
Because if you
All
want,
right.
I can go over them if your phone's too hard to see.
No, it's okay. We have an invoice from MLS Property Maintenance for, well, we have several invoices, and I don't know if it wouldn't make sense to go approve all of them as one from MLS for plowing, because they go back to December 1st. The first one is invoice number 122616 dated 12/28/2020 for a total of $450. The second one, also from MLS, is 116, and that was dated 12/22/2020, and that was for a total of $575 for plowing during that month. I think we have one more. Yes. Invoice again from MLS Property Management, invoice number 1268 dated 12/7/2020, and that's for plowing and salt on December 1st. And that is for a total of $450. I think that's the total, isn't that for MLS? What's this other one? Yeah, I think that's it. So we have those three invoices. If we'd like to approve those all together, we'll need a voice vote on that whole thing. Motion to approve all the invoices, number one, motion. Somebody raised their hand. Okay, thanks, Jason. Second?
I'll support it for discussion, just so the board members know these are the sidewalks. Basically, whenever there's a snow, I think there is no trigger. So if you have a 1/4 inch, they're out there salting and blowing it off. So this is what that is. Within the DDA boundaries, they remove all the snow on the sidewalks.
Okay, so that's, I'm not muted. So that's not the business's responsibility then.
No, it's not.
That's DDA.
That's
Okay.
part of the tax capture.
Yeah.
But just so everybody knows, every business that is involved in the tax capture, your taxes get cut off at a certain point, and that money from those goes into a fund. The DDA collects roughly $160,000 a year into a fund that this board has authority to spend on certain projects. And there's roughly around $1 million in it, I think, something like that right now. So it's a really cool deal.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. By the way, just for clarification, we don't have those interconnecting sidewalks between businesses that we've been planning, but we did get sign off on the ability to do those. However, they're not installed yet. When they will be, those interconnecting sidewalks will be the responsibility of the businesses. But the public sidewalks, on the township property, yes, we take care of those. Okay, so I think we had a motion and a second. I have to do a individual roll call on this. I'm sorry, Linda?
Who's second? Jason?
I support it.
Oh, okay. Thanks, Paul.
Okay, Linda,
Yes.
Jason,
Yes.
Gabe? Yes. Lane?
Hey,
Yes.
just to make it easier, just so you guys know, there is a hand up top. If you're having trouble unmuting, you just click your hand if you want, and your hand will be raised, and then you don't even have to unmute if you want.
That's cute. Okay,
So watch, I'll click on mine.
okay, Paul? Oh,
Hi.
nice. Hi.
Hi.
Kevin? Let's see let's see, me? Aye. Motion carried. Okay, so all the MLS invoices, let's see what else we've got coming up. All right, we have an invoice from Quick Cutters lawn and landscape service for the work that they do at the park. They're saying this, I don't have access to the other invoices, but it says something like a summary or something of 8 invoices. Paul, does that sound right to you?
Unfortunately, Jerry's not on the board anymore, but he oversaw these projects.
Yeah, I know.
So the Quickie Cutters has been doing a lot of odds and ends projects at the Pearl Upper Green Park. It's something this board needs to really take a little harder look at. It does need a lot of work still, but the work has been done with the bridge, putting better that micro wood down so it lasts a long time. Some of the benches have been scraped away and repainted, but this doesn't really have a description. It just says lawn and landscape. Doesn't have a clear description of what it actually was done. If we want, we can table it and find out. Lane, he's got his hand up. You might know.
I think we're on a contract to pay due April through November, which is just 8 months. If I'm correct. I think that was 8 out of 8 invoices. So this should be the last one we get.
This is just cutting the grass then, Lane?
Exactly.
Okay.
Oh, you're right. I can see that. Looks like 8 of 8 invoices. That's what that is.
Okay, yeah, that's scribbled out on okay. I'll make a motion to approve the bill for Quickie Cutters in the amount of $675.
Is there a second? Lane, okay. I will do a individual tally on this. Linda? Jason? Gabe? Paul? Lane? Kevin? Myself? I don't know if that showed up. Did it show up?
Yep.
Okay. Motion passed. All right. Oh, we never have to do another. We have an invoice. Oops, I just lost it. Sorry.
Joyce,
Progressive.
may I ask who seconded that motion, please?
Lane.
I was getting ready to. Okay, thank you.
Oh, you know what? I'm missing his screen here. Oh,
Yeah, I hit the thing, but I don't know if it shows up for you guys.
Oh, I see it. Okay, sorry. Yes, I'm sorry, Lucas.
No, you're good. You're good.
Hey, I'm going by the screen here. What do I know? All right. We also have an invoice for progressive sweeping. What that is they actually sweep the streets for us with a big street sweeper, on a regular basis.
Hey, Joyce, I mean to interrupt you, but technically Linda should take the role as a secretary. So maybe she just wrote everybody's name down. She could do it for you.
Oh, that would be great. Thank you.
Okay, I'll make the motion. We approve the balance, $275 for progressive sweeping.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Again, a voice count. Let's just start with Kevin. Okay, Linda. Jason.
Yep.
Gabe. Paul. Lane. And myself. Aye. Okay, motion passed. We also, I think you have an invoice for Manick and Smith. Linda, can you see it?
Okay, so the first one is that the one for $416?
Yes.
Okay, I'll make a motion. We approve the bill for Manick and Smith in the amount of $416. It was coordination with meeting with calls with Jerry Goodrich with the Monroe County Road Commission on the resurfacing project and cost allocation, coordination with Dennis Kohler, and some paving issues, preparation for agenda items. So.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Lane, thank you. Linda? Jason? Gabe? Paul?
Aye.
Lane? Lucas?
Yes.
Myself? Aye. Did I miss somebody? Okay. All right, and we have another one from Mannequin Smith for $688. Paul, you want to speak to that?
Yeah, I'll make the motion to approve the invoice for $688. Again, coordination with Jerry and meeting with township officials to prepare the work summit to the annual report. Coordination and drafts on the agenda and meeting information. Update township on new regulations required for DDAs. Reduce invoice. They did reduce the invoice by 2.5 hours to minimize any financial impact to the DDA. So Mannequin Smith's always good about working with us with different items like that too. So.
Okay, is there a second? Lane? Okay, Linda? Jason? Gabe? Paul? Lane? Lucas? Myself, aye. Okay, motion passed. Graphic signs.
You're forgetting Kevin. I'm sorry.
Oh, Kevin, I'm sorry, Kevin again. I don't see
That's
the.
okay. My hand's up. You're good.
Okay, so graphic sign, this is the cost. They charge $2,000 to the township to put up all the Christmas lights. So the DDA gets charged a portion of this because of all the lights they take up. So this is just a portion of that. So I'll make a motion to approve the $500 balance to graphic signs for the installation of new banners, Christmas lights on the poles in Lambertville.
I have a second.
I'll second it.
Linda? Jason? Gabe? Kevin? Paul? Lane? Lucas? Myself? Aye. Okay. Motion carried and the bill will be paid. All right, now. The Monroe County Road Commission. I'm sorry, Barry, can you help me with that, or Paul?
I actually, unless Barry has a better explanation, I think I have a call into the road commission just to make sure that we're correct on these bills. So I wanted to table these to the next meeting. Unless Barry, you could speak cleaner to them.
Well, I'll help out a little here. Just so everybody's clear, as part of the work we do, as you saw in some of the description Lucy had provided earlier, we do some work on the roads, curbs, approaches, and the like within the public road right-of-way to make necessary improvements within the DDA. We had originally a microsurfacing project back about 3-4 years ago, but that was terminated because the contractor did not perform, and as a result, the road commission actually had a federal aid job that they extended through the DDA, which one gave us a better product, and two actually saved us money, because with a federal aid project, 80% of the funds come through the federal government, so it saved us quite a bit of money. I support the fact that we need to table this, because there was a contract developed that Jerry did execute with the road commission back in August of 2020. This was the actual contract. I know you don't have, I don't think you guys have a copy of that in your packet, but basically the overall cost of the project was roughly $537,000, of which the DDA's contribution was only going to be $56,700. Now, I've been also coordinating with the new managing director and the county highway engineer to make sure that we only pay the correct amount that the DDA should be paying, because as Lucy also noted earlier, there's certain DDA boundaries and we cannot spend money outside those limits. So the road commission did some paving. They did not extend the southerly limits of the paving on Secor far enough. and also there was some deficiency on the north side. So we need to make sure that the calculations are correct. And right now, both the managing director and the county highway engineer are working with us to try to make sure those numbers are correct. But as of today's meeting, we don't have that confirmation yet.
Barry,
Yes,
would you be good
You're on
enough?
top of it as well, Barry, then.
What's that?
I was just saying, you're working on it as well as Al and I then.
Well, supposedly they should have some good numbers back to us shortly, but maybe we can get together and look at that because of the true boundaries and making sure, because there's a pretty extensive spreadsheet on that, Paul, that we need to, on how they calculate their numbers and all the different aspects of the project. So hopefully we can get this ironed out in the next week or so.
And just so new board members know, it's not our responsibility to fix roads. It is the Monroe County Road Commission's, but like the government center here, we partner with a lot of the projects, and we get more bang for our buck. And that's why we have some of the best roads in the county, because of the partnerships we do. So if you look at it, we're getting $500,000-$600,000 worth of work and putting in 50,000. So yeah, so Lucy, I'm sorry, Joyce, did you have something you were going to say? Joyce's screen is froze. Go ahead, Lane. You're muted, buddy.
I had a question about the one invoice for $2,070. In the description, it's showing Lewis Avenue to Ivor Lindsay.
That's one of the questions we have to them. That's why we're tabling both.
Okay.
Yep. We have questions on those. And we were kind of surprised, with Jerry not coming back. So he was handling these, and that's when we took a deep look at them. We're like, we need to double check all these. So,
Barry, would you be good enough to scan that contract and send it out, email it out?
you're muted.
Barry, I muted you. Sorry.
Yeah, I'd be glad to send the contract as well as the supporting calculations that they had that with the form. So I'll get that out to you shortly and send that out to the board.
Okay, great. Thank you. All right. Where else are we? Oh my gosh, all right. I'm on my phone. This is, all right, so we're not paying, we're tabling those for the moment. We have consumer energy bills. Do we have more than one? Looks like it. We have consumer energy bill. Oh gosh, what is it? Account not, well, no. For $154.93. This is for what month? That's the December energy bill.
Barry, can you give a quick explanation to the new board members why we have energy bills?
Good idea.
Well, we have some lighting out there that is some private lighting and the likes. So some of the new lighting we installed, the decorative lighting, the LED lighting around the benches and the like, as well as that in Pearl Evergreen Park and that sort of thing has some, there is some private lighting.
You got the pumps for the ponds.
Yep.
That require electric, so there's a number of things there. So I'll make a motion. We approve the energy bills in the cost of $106.01, $154.93, and $97.22.
Well, wait a minute. We've got some credits on there. Are those net numbers? Because I see a number of bills, but we've got some that are actually negative on those. And I'm sorry, working with the phone, it's miserable.
Okay, so I'll make a motion. We approve the electric bill from consumers at $154.93 and another one for $97.22.
Okay.
I'll second that.
All right, Linda. Jason. Gabe. Paul. Lane. Lucas. Kevin? Myself, aye. So passed. Okay. I think that's it for the bills. Am I correct on that?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. All right, moving along. Oops, wrong place.
Old business.
I, yeah, I could, yeah.
You see it now, or?
Yeah, under old business, you may have noticed, you know, we have gone with well, maybe not as flashy, but, you know, some addition of new holiday lights on the poles with banners and stars and everything. We have talked about over the years adding to that. Sorry, about adding to that. I just talked with our new representative from Bronner's, and Craig Fick. And he is the one who handles commercial installations, you know, of decorations like that. They do have a sale going on between now and the end of February, and we'd always talked about looking at what's on sale to enhance the things that we have. Possibilities are for lighted displays. We could do something in the Pearl Albert Green Park, since we do have electricity there. On the corners, I'm not sure what we have available, you know, to enhance the corners. Barry, can you speak to that?
There's on each of the new LED poles that we put up about a couple years ago, there is a duplex outlet on each of those poles. So we do have the ability to plug a couple different, you know, units in that on each pole.
Okay, now those, I'm sorry, the poles, they're the ones on the corners, or those at the seating areas?
Every one of the new poles that we put up as part of the private lighting system, the new LED low-level lights that we put up. Lucy, how many are there? 7 or 8, I think.
I don't remember the exact number, but
there's 7 or 8 of those. Those are the ones that currently have the existing stars, blue and white stars on them. Those are the ones that have the duplex outlets there, okay. And there is room to add another lighting fixture if you want, or run a extension cord off those.
Okay, but we don't have anything, you know, like at the knee walls on the corners.
No, there's no supplemental lighting off the posts or columns or anything.
And we do have the ability within Pearl Albert Green Park to connect with some things. Is that not correct?
That is correct. There is some receptacles out there.
Okay.
So right now, Bronner's is offering 25% off on commercial lighting. So if we did want to give Joyce approval to kind of work with the representative for Bronner's, it'd be a great time for us to, that was our goal last year, the year before, was to purchase them every year at the end of the year. And then, you know, kind of build up our stock of lights. And I also thought it'd be cool for Joyce to work with Bronner's on what it would look like to get more banners for different seasons, such as American flags, and maybe some war hero flags where you put a picture of a veteran on there. I've been in towns where they have that. It's really cool. So Joyce, go ahead.
Yeah, what I'd like to do is, rather than make those decisions myself, what we did the last time was there was a small subcommittee of us who made that decision. Linda, I think you were on that. And Michelle Rice was. Would anybody else be interested in joining us to make some recommendations to the full committee? We will be getting like 4 new catalogs that are coming out, and Craig said he would send some insert information about what's on sale. Linda, would you be willing to do a subcommittee on that again? Yes. All right. Thank you.
Yes.
Anybody else interested? Raise a hand. Kevin, I can't see you, but would you be interested? You would. Okay. Anybody else?
If you guys want, you can unmute. It's just if you start hearing a bunch of feedback, then I would mute yourself. That way you can communicate in the meeting.
Yeah. Okay, if nobody else interested, when I get those catalogs in, he said he's mailing them out today. I will email you, and we can set up a, a small meeting where we can kind of go over that and come up with some suggestions on what we'd like to do. Jason?
I have a question. I can't remember, but are those lights wrapped in Christmas lights, like the actual poles?
I'm sorry, I don't
No,
understand.
they're not.
They're
You
not,
see
right?
actual poles that have like they're wrapped with Christmas lights. They were not.
No,
I just
no.
think that would be a good suggestion. I've seen places do that, and it looks kind of cool.
Well, shoot, you should join the subcommittee then, Jason.
But I don't even, like, how does that work? I'll join the subcommittee. That's fine.
Well, yeah, and you're the one who, of all the businesses there, has really done something at Christmas, on the liquor cabinet to.
Yeah, I've always wanted to do that, and I always never do it. And this year, I finally got around to doing it. It was a lot, it's just a lot of work to coordinate that, to find somebody to actually hang those lights. I wish I would have known this other guy because it was kind of expensive.
Okay, well, we'll put you in touch when we talk about it. Okay, so as soon as I get those catalogs, I'll send out an email to the three of you, and we can meet to go over some ideas, and maybe even for the future, take a look at what we'd like to do on a long-term plan. And year by year, as we have additional funding, we can, have a long-term plan for laying some things out. It could be pretty really nice and spectacular in the future. Okay, next item.
Excuse me,
Sorry.
Joyce, do we need a budget? Do we need a budget at this meeting for that project? Since it's got to be done by February?
I don't know. What do you think?
Right,
At
I
this
would
point,
recommend
I'd just like to set out some ideas on maybe a long-range plan, and then.
Yeah, but if you're going to want to purchase some this year, Joyce, you guys should really have some authority to, to do something before that 25% runs out.
Well, depending on what we want to do, I mean, I have some old catalogs here, and some of the nicer things, we're talking about thousands of dollars, for some of these things. So, like I say, I'm not sure what we did get an expenditures and income statement, but we did not get a balance sheet, so I'm not sure what we have, but we do have over $1 million. Any thoughts on what we would spend? I would say we'd limit to it about $10,000.
Mr. Agenda?
Yeah, I mean, I'm good with $10,000 as well. I mean, I would rather go over, and it doesn't mean you have to spend it all, right?
That's correct.
I'll make a motion. We give authority to the subcommittee in the amount of $15,000 not to exceed, to give them authority to purchase Christmas lights.
We will have a meeting before the sale runs out and before we have, so what I'd like to do is take a recommendation back to the full board.
Maybe we could have a quick special meeting.
Okay. All right, I'm sorry, was there a second?
I'll second.
Lucas?
Yeah.
Okay. Linda, since we're talking about $15,000, maybe Linda?
Yes.
Jason? Gabe?
Yes.
Paul? Lane? Lucas? Kevin? Myself, yes. Okay, motion passed. Any other discussion on Christmas decorations or
I would put in there Christmas as banners as well. I think that's the same thing. Christmas decorations, banners.
Right.
Because I think we should be hitting all seasons. And like I said, I get calls every year. People want more American flags up around the community. So I think it'd be a good thing to do.
Yeah. There's also some things we can talk about that we could probably easily do ourselves with a little help for installation. We talked about doing some greenery and some things maybe around the knee walls, that we don't necessarily need browners for, we just need probably some help, installing the whole thing, or we can do it ourselves. Jason?
I have a question. Is there anywhere we can get more information on the projects that you guys have already been working on? Like you talked about the sidewalks behind the businesses and whatnot.
Paul, I'm going to ask this. I don't know if that's me or somebody else.
Sorry, it might be.
Paul, it would be nice to maybe have an informal meeting to, that don't want to be violating any rules of public meetings to bring our members up to date on some of the prior projects.
Yeah, I mean, something we could do is if some of the board members, you all have businesses in downtown Lambertville, if you want to, myself or Barry, if you're in the area at all, I mean, that way we don't have a quorum, because if we have more than 4 people together, we have a quorum. So myself or Barry could meet you guys out there, the 3 or 4 new people, and it'd probably be better if Barry did it if all 4 of you want it, and he could just kind of walk through downtown with you and kind of explain the projects we've done, and it'd be easier if you were out there. Pearl Harbor Green has been the biggest project, obviously, in the past 10 years.
And I'd be happy to join that, because having been on this from the beginning, I know some of the background on,
Or Joyce, you could do it. I just want to be careful for a quorum. It's fine.
No, I think it would be good if we had you and Barry and myself, since we have the, between us, we have the business and, the background with the whole thing. So,
It would, Joyce, too, just as a comment, I think it might be helpful as we get into the spring months where it's a little nicer out, if we could maybe even part of one of our regular meetings, meet out at the site and physically walk around there and see some of the things that you might want to look at, some of the things that have been accomplished. It goes a long way to do a walkthrough if you're available, and it might make it part of a future meeting, and once the weather turns a little nicer.
You're correct. In the meantime, to get people up to speed, to have a small meeting just to take you through, kind of where we are, because we've been in, it's been almost 25 years that we've been in place, and we've done a lot of things. And you probably, those of you who haven't been around that long, have no idea what the corner looked like before the DDA was formed.
Joyce, I'd like to ask. It's not so much about. I think I would like to really share the general development plan for the DDA also to all the new members. So maybe I can do that email. This is the plan that talks about the Tifa district, and it does have or include your general development plans or any future projects. So that would give you some information.
Yeah, I think that would be good too. Yeah.
Okay, somebody want to host a meeting, either Paul at the township or one of our business owners?
Yeah.
You need us to host a meeting where to meet up so we can go take a tour?
Just to bring you up to speed, probably I think what Barry was suggesting is when the weather gets nice, we can take a tour. If you want to wait till then, if you'd like to, have more background information now, we could set up a small meeting with, say, Paul, Barry, and myself to kind of bring you up to speed.
I can wait. I can wait till the spring, but I was just wondering if you guys had a packet or anything, just with a little bit of just just a small description of what's going on, just to kind of take a look at it and have a general understanding of what you guys have been working on.
Well, I'll tell you what. Let's have Lucy send out the packet, and if any of you have any additional questions or anything and would like to meet, let me know. Okay.
I can also send the PowerPoint also. Which I just provided you. It kind of lists all the accomplishments, so that might help you with background.
Thank you.
And just to clarify too, all the projects that are in the pipeline or that are currently being worked on are really complete. The last project was finishing up the sidewalks, the low-level benches and the screening walls and the like. The only thing that's really outstanding, we're still working a little bit with consumers. One of our lights on the northeast quadrant in front of Walgreens, one of the duplex outlets, still giving us a little bit of problem, and the electrician for consumers has to come out of Jackson and check that particular outlet, but everything else is, the projects themselves are essentially complete. There is nothing in the pipeline right now other than the fact that we were, about a year ago, we did a study at the request of the DDA to look at the traffic volumes at the intersections of Quail Hollow and Stearns and Quail Hollow and Secor. At that time, we had looked into possible funding or grant money, of which, due to the type of work that is, was really grant ineligible. So there was discussion about the possibility of moving forward with looking at working with the road commission to possibly install some street lighting, traffic signals at both those intersections, along with some pedestrian signals in complement with some additional sidewalk and for some continuity. So that was a next project that was being discussed. But in terms of actual active projects, we're pretty much done with every project that we've initiated so far.
Just to add to what Barry was saying, the reason is we get a lot of calls for speed. And you can't ask the state or the road commission just to reduce speed. You have to do traffic studies. Well, when you do traffic studies, sometimes the speed comes back at 50 mile an hour. So they could raise the speed limit. So what we did was we said, let's slow the traffic down with lights at Quail Hollow. Most people wouldn't use it as a cut through then. And then after we get the lights up, we'll do a traffic study and create that more of a downtown feel to where traffic slows down. And, so that was the point of it. But, you're talking $400,000+ project, we have to weigh, is that where we want to stick our money? But a lot of what we've talked about, and, I've brought up a lot of it, was looking at purchasing property. We looked at that 5-acre parcel that Mercy Medical owns. It's really the last big parcel in the DDA. We looked at the 1.5-acre parcel next to Subway. They wanted a lot of money for both parcels. We've looked at doing a farmer's market down there where the DDA pays for a market manager so it can thrive. We've looked at festivals down there, that's something I want to discuss a little bit more with this board is just bringing more life down there. We've done the projects. We've done a lot of the work. Now we need to really promote it. I'm
sorry. When you said buy 5 acres, what would you do with that property?
That was something that we had a lot of discussions on. We thought, we could turn it into a community center where you could have a farmer's market and, an area for people to come gather, have small concerts. You know what I mean? You can't get property anymore. So the opportunity arose, and we just didn't pull the trigger quick enough. And when we started out at $500,000 with them, they ended up wanting $1 million for it in the end. So.
Yeah, let me just add to that whole thing that right now they don't seem to be really in the mood to sell. That's the current, isn't it? The other thing is, and one of the things that enter into that discussion, if we buy that property and retain all of it, we do lose the opportunity for the tax increment financing from those pieces of property as their value increases. But we have talked about maybe, acquiring and retaining a part of it. The other thing is, if we were able to acquire it, the advantage to that would be that we would be in a position to lay out our vision for how we want that to look, and then select the appropriate businesses that go in that meet with, how we would like the rest of that area to be developed. That would be a really powerful tool that we would have.
And to add to what she said, the senior center was talking about partnering with us. So we were talking about bringing a new senior center there. So there was just a lot of opportunities.
You could offset a lot of the cost by actually buying the property and just parceling out the front, and then you can use the acres and do whatever you want.
Yeah, we were thinking about those things again, but it's off the table for now. But just be aware that it's in the back of our minds and our agenda, that if we have an opportunity, we would, be back in there again. So, Paul, anything else?
Yeah, I mean, just the last thing we were kind of talking about, and it failed because of COVID, was we were going to have the largest trunk or treat in the county, in the whole downtown. We were going to encompass the whole downtown in Lambertville as one trunk or treat and have, some food trucks and make it a big festival down there. And then it would end up that we were going to have the festival start at Kroger, and it would end up going to the Summerfest that we were going to be planning. And that all went down the tube. So I'd like to get that rolling again for next Halloween, is to plan another, it's called the Bedford Boo Bash is what we were going to do with it. But we could actually form another subcommittee for that too. So that was it.
Anything else on that?
Did we do a roll call on the decorations and we're all set with that?
I think we did. Linda, I think we did, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Barry, you didn't have anything to add. I mean, you kind of brought us up to date. There's nothing else that you need to, you're muted.
Yep, sorry. Yep, no, I think we're all set. I don't think there's anything else. At any time, should any of the board members have specific questions, feel free to contact me. You can get my cell phone number. If you want to write it down, I'll give it to you. It's 734-790-5180. That's usually the best way to reach me. Like I say, I am a Lambertville resident, but our offices for Manic and Smith are in Monroe. But I'm in the community so much. So if you do have a question by any chance or want to know something about past projects or the like, don't hesitate to call. I'll be glad to work with you.
Just keep it under a minute, because once that minute hits, that dollar amount just shoots way up.
Yeah.
Well, as a matter of record, we do not charge for email and phone calls, so you're free and clear. So there you go.
Only when certain residents call, that's when you charge, Barry.
Right. One thing I do want to say, though, if you'd let me put up with me for another minute or two here, I do also want to echo the sentiments that I've worked with Jerry Goodrich for this last several years, and he was obviously led a lot of these endeavors, and I want to compliment Jerry and going to say I'm going to miss him too, because he did a lot of hard work and spent a lot of time and effort on a lot of these projects, and we worked together very closely on getting a lot of these completed. So good guy, and gonna sorely missed, but I just want to say thanks to Jerry for his help, for all he's done to help us too.
I'm planning on sending out a letter on behalf of the board, thanking Jerry for all his service on that. Yes, he was certainly very active. Nothing else there. I just want to bring up one small issue under old business. Jerry had raised the point about, we meet at 3:00 on the second Thursday of the month. Does anybody have any serious problems with that? And should we consider changing the time?
I'm the one that told Jerry that to discuss it with the new board. The problem is when you're talking Friday at 3:00, most people that own businesses and that are working are ready to go. And sometimes these meetings can go on for a couple hours. So I just wanted to have the conversation with the new board. I mean, if you wanted to have it on Friday at 10:00, you could, so we don't feel rushed. But if 3:00 works for everybody, I'm totally fine with it. I just know that sometimes we kind of get antsy and, want to get out of here. And, but we don't have to as long as it works for everybody. Anybody have any thoughts or suggestions?
I'm open to anything. I mean, 3:00 is kind of like an awkward time on a Friday, but I'm open to anything.
So Thursday would probably work better for me, Thursday afternoon. As long as I don't get stuck in a surgery. But
I'm sorry, who was that?
Does anybody have, that was Gabe. Does anybody have problems with Thursdays?
I'm good with the Thursday.
What if we did them like Gabe at like Thursday at 1:00, 2:00?
It just depends on. It depends on. I have to look at my schedule. I can probably at work and if I'll know when the meetings are ahead of time, so I can schedule them appropriately. But
or we can stick with 3:00 on Thursdays. That's fine.
We could try to do earlier. I'd rather get it done earlier than in the day if we can, but
Do we always do them in like an afternoon setting, or have they ever been at like 8:30 in the morning, kind of start the day type thing?
That
Is it
ain't
always-
happening. I'll tell you that right now. That ain't happening.
I'm taking my kids to school at that time, so that's not gonna work. I'm sorry.
No,
You know-
I was just throwing it out there. That's good.
I'm tired. I'm not doing that. I resign. Yes.
No,
no,
they
they have-
don't.
no,
They have to be open up to the public. So if they're like this, they have to be televised or be able to be open to the public. If we meet at Pearl Evergreen Park, no, they do not have to be televised. So why don't we do this? Why don't we stick with Thursdays,
Yes.
once a month at 2:00? And then if we have to adjust it for some reason, we just have to say, hey, Dave's got a surgery. We need to be at 3:00, or we can change it. We have plenty
Okay.
of it. So why don't we do that? And
Sure.
what do we want to do the third? What do we do the third Thursday of every month, or what are we on right now?
We're on second.
The second.
Friday.
Okay, why don't we do the second Thursday of every month at 2:00?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
fine with me. Okay, would you notify the clerk? Would you notify the clerk's office, please, to let them know that, or would you like me to do that?
I would like you to do that.
Okay, I will.
I was getting ready to write it down, and then you offered, so.
I will do that.
Okay.
All right. And under new business, we do have one issue, and that is we do need to elect officers. Jerry, who was our chair, it was not reappointed. I know, Paul, you talked to Lane. Lane was not interested in chairing this committee. If anybody else has an interest, I won't ask for that right now, but would you think about that for the next meeting?
Well, just so everybody knows, the chair, it is probably the most responsibility. You're going to be a little bit more involved, but you're doing the same thing Joyce would do every meeting.
We also, a vice chair.
So Joyce is our vice chair right now, which in Jerry's absence, she's chairing.
And we will need a recording secretary to actually take in and prepare the minutes for us. We have occasionally hired people to do that, but it'd be nice if we could handle that ourselves. So if you think about those positions, I would appreciate it. And send out an email, let me know ahead of time if you wish, or we can discuss it at the next meeting, and we'll plan on having an election at the next meeting if that's okay.
Let me ask this, does anybody have any interest in being the secretary or the vice chair or the chair?
I was trying to give them a little time to think and not putting them on the spot on the whole thing.
Okay, all right.
But
Well,
if you'd like to think about that and just shoot me an email on it and let me know, or otherwise contact me and we could talk about it, as to what it would entail and so forth. So, okay. Any other comments, questions from the board? I don't think we have any public that I see joining us. So any comments or anything from the board? Yes, Lane.
Yeah, I would just like to also just say thank you to Jerry for all of his years of service to the board also, and also thank Barry for the hours he gave us for credit that on that last invoice that we had. So appreciate that.
Yes.
Indeed. Anything else? Anything else we need to discuss?
Are we under comments from board members then? Is that what we're doing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to say, my goal is just to, like I said, to breathe more life into the DDA and draw people there. There was discussion last year about purchasing gift cards and the DDA offsetting the price to get the, community excited and give them an opportunity. So there's things like that we've talked about. But one thing that I think is big was the festival. So if there's people interested in working with me on that, Joyce, what was the gal's name that was our that we hired? Oh, I can't think of her name. We hired somebody to oversee the festival, and I think we should put that on next agenda and have her come on and tell us what she was going to do and start planning for that again. I think this community is ready for for another festival. It's been too long.
Jean
but I
was,
think- What's that?
I believe her name was Jean Bragg or something like that.
Yes, that's correct. Janine Bragg. I didn't know. Lucy was telling her. Janine Bragg, you're all right.
Oh, Lucy.
Lucy, okay. But she, we hired her last year, and she wasn't able to do much work. But I think we should hire her again and get that rolling. So, Joyce, if we could put that on the next agenda, and I'll get her to show up at the next meeting.
Okay.
Yeah, the opportunities are endless to bring excitement and life down there, and that's one reason I really talked to our farmers market that we have to get them to bring the farmers market in Jason's parking lot over there where the bank is, and we were going to pay for a manager to oversee the market. Unfortunately, they weren't interested in moving, but just things like that. If you have ideas, send them to Joyce to put it on the agenda. Let's talk about them and we can make them happen. The opportunities still, I think they want $200,000 for it, which I think is overpriced. But if we have a good enough idea and that's where we want to put our money, and you know, we should talk about it. So don't be afraid to add something to the agenda to talk about. Other than that, I think, you know, if we cannot go for a grant with those lights, I think it's something we seriously need to put on the table to discuss, because I think it's extremely important for those lights to go in at both entrances of Quail Hollow to really keep the downtown feel, in my opinion, for the future of just slowing traffic down. You know, I think it's huge for us, but it's a big cost. You know,
Can I add to that, Paul? So,
yeah.
I mean, I work in the Kroger, Lambertville, you know, that parking lot there. And I agree with that because, I mean, pulling out of here at 5 o'clock on any single day, I don't know if you, like most of you guys have seen it. I mean, it's a crapshoot over here. It's terrible. So I would push for that as well, because we've talked about it, you know, just like directions next to me, all that. We've all talked about it like, man, we wish we could have that. We wish we could have that. So I
well,
agree
if
with
the
that.
if the costs are that high, Lucy, we can always look at just doing one in front of Kroger's to start. We don't have to do both of them at the same time. So, you know, I mean, do one every couple of years, then do a traffic study.
One thing we have to remember, and it's a piece of history, but it also still holds today, and that is when we first looked at forming a DDA, because of the need for a very dangerous intersection there. It wasn't nearly as built up as it was now. I mean, it was hardly anything there, but it was very dangerous as it was because our township has grown with residential residents, you know, coming through and from the expressway and so forth. So we get a lot of traffic, you know, coming down Stearns Road and of course up Secor Road as well. And when we first widened and paved and, you know, improved the utilities there, the idea was to get the traffic to move quickly and efficiently and safely through that intersection. Well, we still need to be able to bear that in mind because there, you know, at rush hour, as you know, there's as you said, you know, there's just a ton of traffic coming through, but you know, with all the curb cuts and, you know, everything that's going on now, you know, we have to balance that with, you know, slowing it down a little bit without impeding the free flow through the intersection. So something to keep in mind.
Mm-hmm. So that's all I have.
Anything else?
I wonder if we gave enough time to the public in case somebody wanted to call in. So I was going to suggest that maybe we, I don't know what George's recommend, but. Okay. Well, I think we're okay then.
Thanks, George.
Hey, George, is this, you want to let us know too, if this is something you're going to be able to do for us next meeting, next month on a Thursday at 2 o'clock, or is it, or are we gonna? Okay. So the second Thursday at 2 o'clock, I just wanted to know, because otherwise we're gonna have to purchase a Zoom account and do that, so. Okay, I agree.
Okay, if there's nothing else, can I have a motion to adjourn? Was there a motion? I'm sorry, I didn't see it.
I'll make a motion that we adjourn at 4:19.
Okay. Second?
I'll second.
Okay. All in favor? Aye.
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 Okay. See you next month, second
Guys.
Thursday at 2:00. And any questions, anything, give me a call, shoot me an email. Thanks.
Nice meeting everybody. Thanks.